Hello guys and welcome back, and this time we've got like a little kind of neon review this time. I've just come back and I've literally just seen The Rise of Skywalker. So I'm going to do a little bit of a review. I'm going to break this video into like two parts. I'm going to do like a non-spoiler review for like the first part and a bit of a spoiler review for the second part. I'm going to try and keep it relatively short. Otherwise, I could be talking about this for like 40 odd minutes. So I'm just going to go about the positives, some of the negatives, and blah 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 blah. Right, first off, is The Rise of Skywalker any good? Now, basically, this is my own review for my own personal opinions, so it is purely subjective, guys. Okay, so it's just my personal thoughts and opinions on it, and I hope you guys can take something away from this as well. If you're decided or undecided whether or not you want to go and see this film. Alright, so we're going to start off with non-spoilers. Is The Rise of Skywalker a good film? Yeah, I think it is. I came away pleasantly enjoying that film more than I thought it was. Now, I don't know whether or not it was the backlash from The Last Jedi, or maybe I set the bar so low in my estimates of what I was going to get from this movie, but I kind of came away from it at the end of it not thrilled. I didn't think the film was amazing, but I thought it was good for what it was, which is saying something. You know, it's definitely, in my opinion, the best film out of the trilogy. Now, is it a great Star Wars film? Maybe, possibly. I don't think it's better than any of the originals, and I don't think it's better than Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, but I think it's comfortably better than Attack of the Clones, and comfortably better than Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So it's definitely not a bad film. Right, so we're going to go in and do the first things as first. For me, personally, this movie's cut into like two pieces. I think the first hour and 20 minutes of this film is really, really good. I think it's enjoyable, and I think if they would have stayed on course with that, then I think a lot of people would have come away with this film pleasantly happy and surprised. Now, the last 25 minutes to half an hour of this film is an absolute train wreck. It's horrible. If you would have carried on going the way that it was, I would have gave this film at least a 7 or an 8. The last half an hour completely balls that up in so many different ways, but it's not a bad thing. Kind of. It's just a direction I wouldn't have taken, but I think for casual moviegoers, the people are going to enjoy this film. It's not a bad film. Let me get that out of the way right now. It's not horrendous, but it's not brilliant either. It's lukewarm for the most part. And I just want first things first. What I want to talk about: this film goes at such a breakneck speed. I've seen a lot of people and a lot of critics complain about how fast-paced this film is, and that you get no character development. And I wholeheartedly agree with what many people have said about that. It does go so fast, the first film, but I actually think that's one of the film's strengths. It keeps the action going. You're going from place to place to place to place, but there's a reason to it. It feels like that the film's going in a direction that makes sense. Like it tries to right some wrongs. The story's going forward. They're under a time restraint. You can see why that does that. You know, it's not just there for sake reasons. It's part of the story. Now, the character development thing as well is also a fact that I tend to agree with. You know, it's going at such breakneck speed that these characters don't have any character development. There's nobody. Rey doesn't have any character development. Finn doesn't have any character development. Poe, Leia. There's nobody in this film, apart from the exception of maybe Kylo Ren, that has any growth whatsoever. But again, my own personal feeling, I think this works for the film. And the reason why is because I don't have any emotional attachment to these characters whatsoever. I was interested in him in The Force Awakens, but I just wanted to see more of Leia and Han and Luke. Then The Last Jedi completely destroyed, for me personally, and I just didn't care about the characters leading into this film. And after seeing this film, I still don't care for Finn, for Poe, for Rey. So I think in that regard, this film did pretty well at just keeping the action, man, keeping the story going, keeping the suspense of the final order rising up, trying to take over the galaxy. You know, it works more to the point than character development, because I think if they would have took some time with these characters, I don't honestly know how many people would have cared. To be quite frankly, I don't think anybody really cared about Rey, about Finn, about Poe. I don't think any of these characters really, you know, I don't think really people took to them as much as they did with Han, Luke, and Leia. Even Anakin and Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. You know, I don't think anybody took to them. So yeah, the film's at the breakneck speed, but I think that's actually one of its positive points. You know, the film is beautifully shot. There's some gorgeous scenes in there. CGI is pretty good, as well as some of the old models that they use for some of the aliens as well. It kind of takes you out your seat a little bit with that. You know, when you see like a gloriously rendered Star Destroyer and all its glory, and then you've got a alien puppet that's like, you know, blatantly made out of plastic going, but that is the magic of Star Wars. It's always been a bit corny in its prediction of the aliens and stuff like that, so it's a nice nostalgia feel, you know. I think the action scenes are, I think, underdeveloped for the movie. Probably the most noticeable one is definitely the fight scene between Rey and Kylo Ren, which is probably the best lightsaber battle that we've got this trilogy, which is, I don't know how to take that. I mean, it's good, but at the same time, if that's the best the trilogy's got, then the way that they've handled lightsabers is, it's just. What was the point of them having one? What was the point of them having a lightsaber? I will grant there is one cool moment between Rey and Kylo Ren near the back end of the films, with what they do with a lightsaber, which is pretty awesome. I thought it was corny the first time I watched it, but then the more I kind of think about it, I was thinking, okay, they've built that up over three movies for this one moment, and it comes off. It comes off. It's pretty cool how it happens, and the shot of Kylo Ren. I think the ending of the film is its weakest point into this. I think everything that it builds up to be is rushed, and it doesn't work. You feel no sense of danger for the characters. It's predictable in everything that it does. You know, good guy wins, but the bad guy wins, and there's no threat in this movie. There's no presence of an ultimate evil. It's one of the. I think I'm safe to say for the in this non-spoiler bit that obviously Palpatine has returned. He's been in all the trailers, so if you haven't seen the trailers, Palpatine's in the movie. Boom, there you go. But there's no. There's no danger, which is what I'll lead on to my spoiler thing in a minute. It's all in all, it rights some wrongs from The Last Jedi. It builds a decent story that I had actually surprisingly amount of fun with, bar the ending, which I didn't like at all. The last half an hour of the film, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I would have gave the first hour 20 minutes of this film a solid. Probably about 7, and I'd give the last part of this film like a 3 or a 4. So I average out, and all in all, I'd probably give this film. I'd give it a 7. I would give it a 7 if I can look past the last half an hour. I think people will enjoy it. I think Star Wars fans will enjoy it as well. There's some nice nostalgic moments in there, and all in all, I came away surprisingly happy. And I'll be interested to see what you guys think of the movie. If you let me know down in the comments about it as well. So, you have now been warned. We are now going into spoiler territory. So if you've not seen the goddamn film, look away now. Pause this video. Go watch it. Come back. And we can talk about it a little bit more. Right. So spoilers in we go. There are so many of this movie that does not need to be in there. There's a lot of story beats. Like I said, the movie goes at such breakneck speed and just keeps you going on and going on and going on. It's entertaining. Does it make sense? Does it give anything to the story? No. No. It does nothing in that respect. Let's start with the worst part. Let's start with the last half an hour of this film. I don't even know where to start. Rey confronts Palpatine. I can't even say they had a battle because nothing happens. Palpatine sucks the life out of Rey, fires some lightning. 10 seconds later, he's dead. He's defeated. Like, yeah. This whole movie of him coming back in this movie was completely pointless. You could have put Snoke there instead, and it would have made more sense. But they couldn't do that because Snoke died in The Last Jedi, so they had to bring some ultimate evil back, which just had to be Palpatine. You know, and he sits in a chair. He sits in a chair all movie. And the one scene he does, he fires some lightning, and he dies. There's no battle. There's no Clone Wars moment where he grabs his red lightsabers. He does exactly the same as with Revenge. He fires some lightning, Rey blocks it with a lightsaber, turns it back towards him, and he fries and like a pack of chips in an oven, and no more Palpatine. Like, you would have thought the guy would have learned his lesson from like the Revenge of the Sith, where, you know, did the exact same thing and scarred him for life. But no, apparently this time he goes even more at it and dies. Literally dies. They bring back the ultimate evil, and they could have given him something, man. They could have done anything in that scene. You could have had Rey and Kylo teaming up, and you could have had Palpatine with two red-bladed lightsabers or something, and there could have been a massive battle between the two of them. You could have had something. You could have had an exchange of force powers. You know, you could have had a different scene where maybe Palpatine kills Kylo, pushing Rey over the edge, maybe tapping into the dark side, and him feeding off that. And then maybe she does a Luke and earns that right. But no, there's nothing. They're just, Kylo looks like he gets pushed down the thing. Rey goes, the Jedi are in me, but has done like absolutely fuck all to do with the Jedi in 3 goddamn movies. Pushes his force lightning back onto Palpatine, saves the day, then dies. Kylo comes back, kisses her, give her his life force, and dies. And then Rey's alive. And this whole movie comes to her with 2 lightsabers pushing force lightning back on there. I've not got a problem with how it ended. I got a problem with how they got there. You know, the Emperor deserved so much more than that. There was no thought to it. I mean, it could have been this gigantic cinematic moment, like Revenge of the Sith is. Like, take what you want from the prequels, right? But people always remember that one moment where Darth Maul comes out with his double-bladed lightsaber, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are taking off their cloaks, you know? That battle, that moment where Qui-Gon gets killed and Obi-Wan goes, no! And the music is blaring in the background and Darth Maul's just, you know, teeing him up, waiting for the force field to drop. There's epic moments. Revenge of the Sith, man, when you see the lava, the fight, those moments where they're swinging their blades around, it's aesthetically pleasing to watch those battles, to see those two friends go at it. It not only is it an emotional fight, but it's entertaining to watch. And I feel like in this, not just this film, but this trilogy, there is nothing there. There is no lightsaber battles in this film, like no genuine battles. Anyway, we get Kylo versus Finn over in about 2 seconds. We get Rey versus Kylo, who at this point Rey hasn't even been trained, and she kicks his ass. Return of the Jedi's, Last Jedi's, there's not even a lightsaber battle. Apart from the throne room, which is like you want to see a lightsaber battle. There should have been a Kylo moment. Kylo Ren should have kicked Rey's ass in that moment, and then we would have had something to look forward to for season. But there wasn't. There was nothing there. And this last battle, there was a good moment between Kylo and Rey when they're on top of the wreckage of the Death Star and the lightsaber battle, and it looks like Kylo's going to win. And you think, oh my god, they wouldn't do that, would they? Would they go that? No, of course they don't. Of course they don't, because something happens, Leia dies, Kylo stops, Rey has to stab him, and that whole moment of intrigue, suspense, what's going to happen here? Oh my god, it is evaporated. And then Mary Sue stabs him, runs off, heals him, claims the day, and goes off to save the galaxy by doing effectively fuck all. I would say probably the two people that do get the most screen, a welcome bit of screen time and likability in this film is Finn and Poe. I don't think they've got much to do. I don't think Finn could have just not been in this film at all, and I don't think it would have affected the plot. I think Poe has more things to do with becoming the leader of the Resistance, as well as the leader of the X-wing fighters and stuff. There's a reason for him to be there. A leverage, that passing of the torch from Leia to Poe makes sense. Finn, on the other hand, Finn's like is just his whole story arc is unforgivable. I generally came away from The Force Awakens excited to see Finn's character. He was a stormtrooper that would turn to the good side. That had never been done before. His whole thing was to run away from the First Order, but he stood up to them when the chips were down with a lightsaber against Kylo Ren, even though he knew he couldn't win. I think in that film at that moment they were hinting that Finn may be Force sensitive, and I think, and in this film there's a couple of moments where he looks around and feeling, and I think they are trying to hint that he has the Force thing, but they never give him anything more than the hint that maybe he does, and he does nothing effectively in this film apart from lead a couple of horses on the Death Destroyer and destroy a tower, which took 2 seconds of destroying. That's the other thing that annoys me in this trilogy. There's no threat. You never feel like the heroes are in danger. You never feel like Rey's gonna suffer a massive loss. You never feel like Poe or Finn are gonna die. It's simplistic, and the worst thing in this whole entire trilogy, which I am still not really pissed off, is nobody loses a goddamn limb. Nobody loses an arm. Nobody loses a goddamn. It's heartbreaking as a Star Wars fan. Like just those little details that mean so much to the fandom. Where the original trilogy with Vader's hand, when Luke's hand, this. The prequels, when you see Anakin lose that hand that we see in the first one, then the inside jokes as well of everybody that that loses a limb in the games and stuff like that. There's so much history to that, and then in this one, nothing. It's just little details like that could have made this series from mediocre to all right, and it's just completely gone over their heads. I like Kylo Ren's development. Kylo Ren's probably the only person in this movie that gets a little bit of redemption, a little bit of a story progression. I feel more emotional attachment to Kylo Ren in this trilogy than any other character, and I don't even think he's got all that much to do. You know, he saves Rey, he dies. I feel like his story's unresolved. I don't feel like he deserved that death. And I feel like they did it intentionally to give Rey the spotlight. To give her the champion, you know, the champion, that spotlight that she's supposed to be the hero. And she deflects the Palpatine light in it, but apart from that in the trilogy, she does nothing. She does nothing of note. If anything, that last scene should have gone to fucking Poe. Because Poe's done more in this goddamn trilogy in the first 3 films than what 5 seconds of Rey doing, like, say, you know, deflecting Force lightning, and that's it. That's the thing that messed me off. That is the ultimate evil. You could have done something, anything. The show of Force power. There's a vast amount of things they could have done, and it's like they've gone 10 seconds. You do your lightning. She blocks it. You die. It's like, did nobody stop to think in the Disney boardroom? You know, maybe we should do a little bit more. You know, lightsaber battle, force battle. Maybe Kylo dies in front of a, you know, emotional attachment or anything like that. And the way that you think Kylo dies is just it's so predictable. So predictable. He gets pushed down a hole straight away. You know he's not dead. I felt nothing in that moment watching that film when he went. He was my favourite character up to that point, and I felt nothing. He went down the hole, and I just kept thinking he's not dead. I was like, he's not dead. And I was expecting him to come out the hole and maybe save Rey and battle alongside her against Palpatine. No, nothing. Rey defeats Palpatine by herself, which I think is intentional. I think Disney's done that on purpose because nobody wants to steal Rey's limelight, you know, even though she's undeserving of it completely in this whole entire trilogy. You know, that's no offense to Daisy Ridley. I think she's a very, very talented actress. I just don't think the script or the way that character is portrayed on screen is helps her in any kind of way. Her character does nothing. And anyway, he comes back up at the end once Palpatine's defeated, gives him the life force, they share a kiss, and then he dies. And in my mind, you're supposed to be thinking, you know, you're supposed to have like Family Guy, and then moment, and there was nothing. The end of 42 years, and I felt nothing. And that's the saddest part of that I just couldn't, you know. I kept smiling at all the bits that do happen in this movie. The way the music plays, when you see the TIE fighters make their swooning noises, the credits, you know, all those things that are nostalgic to me that I love. You can't help but love those things. But all in all, the movie was just meh. It was just meh. You know, like I said, the first hour, 20 minutes of this film, or the first hour, is probably the best hour of this trilogy. To be honest with you, is the best hour that they've managed to do. The ending to it, the last half an hour, is piss poor. I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. And am I sad? Am I downbeaten that this saga is over? No. I'm pleased. I'm glad this 3 movies in the Star Wars saga is finished, because I would love to move on now to something new. Clone Wars is coming out. Mandalorian's looking good. I haven't seen that yet. I very much plan to. And I really hope the rumours of the Knights of the Old Republic movies are true, because I think that's the way to go now. I think Disney needs to go backwards. I think they need to do movies the height of the Jedi Order, the height of the Sith. I'm done with all the Sith are over, the Jedi's over now. I want to see a full-blown Sith, full-blown Jedi in full power, going at it across the galaxy. You know, the Revan storyline would be my personal choice. I don't think they need to copy it in the games. I don't mind if it's changed. It needs to be something. It needs to be something. I hope you guys enjoyed this review as well. I did say I was going to keep it short, but I have been ranting and raving for a little bit here. But yeah, if you guys like these, please don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more neon rants and reviews. I'd really, really appreciate it. And with that being said, guys, I will see you guys next time. And don't forget, guys, may the force be with you always. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.